We're going to do something that has never been done before. We're going to take Alpharetta, Roswell, and Woodstock, three suburbs in the North Atlanta area, and across a few categories, we're going to have these suburbs match up against each other to see which one's best. Hi, my name is Patrick Clan. I'm with Real McCoy Realty Consultants. I feel like it's only fair that you know what those 5 categories are. The first category is going to be on home prices. What are you buying in each of the 3 suburbs? The second category is going to be on schools. You should get a good data-backed overview of each of the 3 communities, but I'm also going to throw in some special data that, while publicly available to you, is a little hard to find without some help. And I think it can really help impact some decisions you can make in this competition. Third is lifestyle. If you go downtown, walk around in each of the 3 suburbs, what are you going to see and what are you going to do? Could be a little different across the 3 places. And the fourth item is on commuting. By the end of this video, you should have a really good idea of what the traffic is like in Alpharetta, Roswell, and Woodstock. The last category is going to be on vibes. Each of these 3 suburbs has a unique culture to them. Alpharetta is not the same as Roswell, and Roswell is not the same as Woodstock, and Woodstock is not the same as Alpharetta. Before we get underway in the competition, I cannot resist an opening montage. Now that is a montage. Well, at least it's my style. I mean, hopefully you liked it. All right, anyway, let's introduce those 3 contestants properly. The first runner-up is Alpharetta. Alpharetta gets a lot of attention because of its proximity to Lake Lanier, which is overrated in my opinion, and being proximity to a few other things. Alpharetta's got that real, hey mom, I made it kind of successful vibe going on. And I would say it's earned. I really would. You can't really mention Alpharetta without talking about beautiful Avalon. It's more than just a shopping center. If you're visiting around town, you should definitely check it out, regardless of how you feel about these 3 suburbs or any other suburb in Atlanta. I think it's really nice. Then you've got Roswell, which is a really good runner-up. Well, I can't say runner-up yet. We haven't broken out the categories yet. All right. Roswell, you could call a historic charmer. Roswell's been around since before the Civil War. And as you go through downtown, you get to see all these really neat brick buildings. And they have this place called the Smith Plantation. You got Bullock Hall. You got City Hall. City Hall looks a little bit like the City Hall from Back to the Future. Great Scott! At least I think so. Maybe we can run a clip on that or something. Oh, look, there we are. Yeah, see? I mean, can you see that? I can. All right. And then you've got Woodstock. Woodstock is, hear me carefully on this, criminally underrated. And here is why. It is a very nice suburb, and unlike the 2 other ones, which are based in Fulton County, it's in Cherokee County. And if you live around here in the Atlanta area, you automatically know that means lower taxes. As of the time in this video, property taxes are shooting up through the roof. If you get online with homeowners, you'll hear that being a common complaint. And I mean, I get it. We need things to fund, but it's also good to see if you could get something really nice without maybe having to pay top dollar for it. But anyway, Woodstock is a place. People have been sleeping on it, and I don't think that's going to last much longer. But we are going to go over each of these 3 communities. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the first category. There is a clear winner almost right away on this category, but I think it's worth comparing these 3 suburbs so you'll get a better idea of the value they bring and where the prices may be going. And there's something just a little surprising when you look at some of this information. So right now, we're using June of 2026 data, but I can tell you there's a clear difference in price on median house sale. But here's the interesting part. Look closely. While Alpharetta is almost $70K more than Roswell on a median house price, you actually wind up paying more in square footage at the time of this recording for a home in Roswell versus Alpharetta. To me, that would suggest that these two suburbs are closer in price than they may appear. And also, and I'm not going to bombard you with a ton of data, but what I'm noticing too in the market is that Roswell has actually been making a steadier gain on home value than Alpharetta. Alpharetta is still more expensive, but you're saying that Roswell is not that necessarily far behind. So as of the time of this recording, Roswell is catching up, even though Alpharetta is the most expensive. So that apart I thought was very interesting when you look at this quick comparison, but clearly there's a one solitary winner on price, and that's Woodstock. Least expensive of the three. Now, the only way you could knock Woodstock down off of its pedestal is if the amenities suck. Woodstock has both Sam's and Costco. So, and then when we look at how the city is going to match up on the downtown scene, and then a little secret I'm going to share with you in the next round, I cannot deny that Woodstock is going to offer the best value of these three suburbs, at least as far as home prices go. So this round's totally going to Woodstock. Schools. Let's try to look at this from a data-backed standpoint. Alpharetta and Roswell are going to be so dominant in this part of the competition because they're backed by Fulton County schools, one of the strongest districts in the entire state of Georgia. They are well rated by niche, they have a lot of money, and a lot of weight behind them. Roswell's got fantastic schools like Roswell High and Milton High. And in Alpharetta, you have some amazing schools that we can go to, like Alpharetta, for example, in Cambridge and Chattahoochee. But what I would tell you that really stands out is FCS Innovation Academy. It's a relatively new school, heavily STEM focused, based on project-based learning and pathways in engineering, artificial intelligence, and all that. Technically, if you live in Roswell, you should have access to that school. I don't know what all the fine details are, but since the school is located in Alpharetta's backyard, I'm going to have to give that school to Alpharetta for the purposes of this competition. If you got a tech-minded kid, if that's you, that school alone, I would say in many ways would be worth it. So that is a really strong compliment we can give to Alpharetta on that. Now, Woodstock cannot be discounted for two key reasons. It's located in Cherokee County School District. While it's not as prestigious as Fulton County schools, Cherokee is well run, and there are some really good solid schools like Etowah High. And then you also have River Ridge High, which is located in Woodstock, which I believe might be, as of the time of this recording, the most highly rated school within the county. So there is a lot going there for Woodstock. So it's a solid school system. Now, if you're chasing this absolute top tier national rankings, you may want to look at Fulton County. But before we go any further, there is something else you do need to know. Something that I mentioned earlier in the video regarding schools now comes into play here. Fulton County Schools, which covers Roswell and Alpharetta, has a budget shortfall of $90 million by their own admission. I'll give them credit for that. So while the county school is trying to address this shortfall, I can guarantee you that's going to impact the quality of schools in those suburbs moving forward. Also, it's important to understand that if you're not part of the exemption, which is tied into all this conversation, that's a whole nother video. We're not going to really get into that there. It's important to understand that that could also impact your property taxes if you're looking to continue owning a home or looking to buy a home in those areas. So I think that that needs to be factored into this conversation on school ranking. And also, I will tell you, and I didn't want to give it away earlier in the video, that was part of the reason why I gave Woodstock number one for value. That was really the secret tipping over on the edge. So sorry, I just couldn't give it away that early on in the video. All right, let's move on. Despite this surprise, I'm still going to give the edge to Fulton County schools, and I would say that Alpharetta is just slightly ahead of Roswell on this one. This is really about personalities, and for me, I've got a strong bias towards organic growth. Alpharetta is impressive. You've got the historic downtown Alpharetta. It's got those quaint streets, a monthly Main Street market, cafes, antique shops, stuff you're going to see in any old historic downtown. The real showstopper for them is Avalon. It's a master planned live, work, play development, but it feels a lot like a Pottery Barn catalog brought to life. Now that is nice, but it does have a big, strong corporate feel. I mean, and the restaurants are great too if you can afford them. It's very stunning. Once you step out of these two downtowns, though, you pretty much need a car in Alpharetta. In Roswell's Canton Street, what is wonderful about walking through there, and honestly, it's one of the most underrated streets in the entire metro Atlanta area. You can tell that people have lived here a very long time and have made the street their own. You've got mid-19th century buildings. You've got true locally owned restaurants, craft breweries, string lights. You go down to a downtown restaurant, you eat a piece of food, and it's like, this doesn't seem like it was made by Sodexo. So it's like, that's pretty appealing, right? So that is just something impressive. I would tell you what, if nothing else, you need to go see Canton Street. It's just that amazing. Woodstock's downtown has a special place in my heart. It is being developed a bit professionally, but like Roswell, there is character to there. You have old buildings. They're not all kind of the same or have that same shade of gray and all that. And even the breweries have a little bit of character to them. Reformation Brewery, if you're going to stop anywhere in Woodstock, that is a good highlight. The tree out there at the back is fantastic. You've got amazing farmers markets that are really organic where people do show up and it's not all the same thing. I would also say it's got a younger, more energetic vibe over Canton Street. I wouldn't say it's near Canton Street yet, but maybe give it 5 years. The city's moving. For the winner, it's got to be Roswell. Canton Street has really earned its character. If you put nearly 2 centuries into your downtown and you've put in the work that Roswell has, you deserve full recognition on this. Enjoy the bragging rights, Roswell. You got this one. Before we get into actual data, I will tell you, personally, I think Woodstock is the easiest of the 3 suburbs to drive around in. But again, we need to be rather objective in this category because no one person's commute is the same. For what it's worth, the commuting is, from my own experience, very similar. Give yourself an extra 10 minutes of buffer time if you're in rush hour for traffic, and you should almost never miss your destination. Outside of that time, I would give yourself about maybe 5 minutes in non-rush hour traffic. Rush hour starts from 7 to 9 in the morning and then starts again from 3 to 6 in the afternoon. It's worth pointing out that no one person has the exact same commute time, so for the purposes of this contest, we need to go with some objective data for what is the average commute. Personally, I prefer driving around Woodstock more than I do Alpharetta, but when you actually look at the data, Alpharetta's commute time is less than Woodstock's, and it's even less than in Roswell. Now, one of my working theories to that is that there are a lot of people who live and work in Alpharetta. Like if you're in the tech scene here in Atlanta, you might be living in Alpharetta, but you may also be going to work in Alpharetta. I've seen it to where you could basically bike into work if you really wanted to. That's a very common setup in Alpharetta. So for this one, Alpharetta is going to win just based on the data alone. When your city is the North Atlanta corporate corridor, your commute can effectively be 0. This is subjective, and this is the only tie we're calling. Roswell and Woodstock. Roswell is super established. I mean, you walk around Canton Street, you could tell that the regulars have been there a long time. Every neighborhood feels like it's got a story. And it's just so neat to see a community that has taken over 150 years to develop really come into its own here on North Atlanta. But Woodstock has momentum, and I think that's just as equally exciting because Woodstock is growing into the next great Atlanta suburb, and we don't know where that journey is going to go. But I feel like Woodstock is going to do something different, and I'm all here for that. So for these two, for slightly different reasons, but overall because of the vibes that they give off, I gotta put a tie on these two communities. Alpharetta is still really nice though, okay? So don't get upset too much. All right, so what we're seeing here is that every city scored 2 out of the 5. So now the question becomes, who really won? So, who really came out on top on this competition? This may sound like a cop-out, and some of you are like, oh, gosh, I know he was going with this. But it's really all about what is best for you. For example, I guess you could make an argument that Woodstock wins because, well, it all boils down to numbers and digits and all that, and clearly Woodstock's got the best value. But if you've ever owned a home before, you know that it's not just a money decision. And so there's other things that come into play there. For example, Roswell has great character. And if you want something very unique, I cannot recommend that enough based on what we've seen here today and from what I've seen in my own experience. But then again, if you want a lot of status, Alpharetta is going to have you beat. I mean, you're going to be living that high life and you'll be able to just really enjoy that. And I'll be very happy for you. All right, why don't we do this? Let me know in the comments below who you think won. I would be really curious to see who you thought. Also, in our description below, if you're interested in any of these neighborhoods, I've got a set of relocation guides you're welcome to look through and all that. And if you're interested in living in one of these areas or maybe selling a home in one of these areas, feel free to reach out to me through there. You can get on a call with my team. No pressure. We just love to hear what's going on with you, where things are. I love listening and meeting with new people. And I will tell you this, it would just be great to meet you. Again, this is Patrick Clam with Real McCoy Realty Consultants. I hope you're doing well, and I hope to see you on the next one. Oh, you're still here? Oh gosh, okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and watch this video. I made a point to pick it out just for you if you made it this far in. So you have a great one. Take care. Bye. Yeah, go watch the video.